world is.
The commander's put me in charge of your maintenance, ma'am.
You. If you ever meet up with your hyena...
Said you got to fake the moon landing, but don't tell anyone. Okay, so Hollywood studies the problem and comes back and says, turns out we can fake the moon landing, but it's way easier if we do it on location.
That was good from Neil. That was good. And so they're panicking today as the walls are closing in.
How beautiful.
This is from the Wall Street Journal. Check this out.
The commander's put
In
me
a
in
sharp
charge of your
reversal,
maintenance, ma'am.
Trump said House Republicans should vote
means
to
I'll be
release
performing
the
regular
Epstein
checks on you
files.
from now
Wow.
on.
Why the sudden change of heart? Because they've
Everyone
been
is
slow
listening
walking
to
this
this.
thing. They've been blocking
There's
stuff.
something
They've
I
been
need
covering
you to
up.
do.
I think they know that the vote's going to go bad. That's my first reaction. It is bad for them. That is because you essentially can get a head count ahead of time, get a general idea. Okay, who's going to vote yes, who's going to vote no, who are the kind of maybes, and you get a sense of where the wind is blowing. And now Trump's going to be like, hey, you know, I was for releasing this stuff all along. The question though is going to be, will they release everything? They did a whole bunch of black, markings everywhere, cover up everything. That's certainly a possibility. And at the moment, this is what he's tweeting out. He says, as of Friday night before Air Force One, screw these people off. They're probably going to be guilty. And effectively what it is, it's a big cold and just a bunch of high school clicky stuff. Seriously, this is what's running the USA. This is what he has. He says,
we're not
this is the right wingers, man.
153. I order you to halt all
narrative
logical
that
thought
we
and
can't have standards because we have to consider it.
Androids were designed to protect their human masters. Even if it's pointless, you
Really,
still
we're
have to
talking-
do it. You two are the last remaining members of your home.
You know, this is all while
Wait, look at this. It says, you know what I hate about the right? The bullshit narrative that we can't have standards because we should all be friends with each other. Why should someone's friendship with a right-winger who I may or may not like have influence on what I say about them if I feel like dragging them? Why should I care about people's phony and fake friendships? I don't care. Everybody in the GOP hates each other. You don't want to be friends with these people. Trust me. Wow. Okay.
So really, we're talking about, right? People who are protecting said names, essentially what it is. And then effectively then it becomes, okay, it all depends on who's friends with who. The same with the Republican Party is that there's a lot of infighting right now, and they're all trying to figure out where to position themselves. And it's all up to, do you believe...
Hello, traders. In this video, we're going to introduce the Smart AI Indicator, which we developed.
And then it's more about...
So the legally part, you can put any number of what...
With the information that we have now, it is not enough to just ask the question, is Donald Trump in the Epstein files, or did he commit crimes alongside Jeffrey Epstein? We know that for sure by now. The questions that we have to ask from Rachel Maddow, that gives us the context that we need.
What happened to the lawyer who got Epstein his bizarrely lenient plea deal when he was first arrested on sex trafficking charges in Florida? What happened to the lawyer who got him that
the commander's put me in
bizarrely
charge of your
lenient
maintenance,
plea deal?
ma'am.
Well, Trump hired him to be his
That
own
means
lawyer.
I'll be
What
performing
happened to the
regular
U.S.
checks on you
attorney
from now
who
on.
gave Jeffrey Epstein that bizarrely
anyone is
lenient
listening to
plea
this,
deal? Oh, Trump
there's
put him in his
something I
cabinet
need you to
in his
do.
first term. Well, who then prosecuted
ever meet
Epstein a
up
second time when he was
your
brought up on
unit
federal charges?
minus.
Oh, that was the SDNY line prosecutor who Trump inexplicably fired last week. Who was in charge of the Department of Justice and the Bureau of Prisons when Epstein then killed himself in federal custody? President Donald Trump. Who bragged to a reporter about how much Epstein seemed to like women on the younger side? Who said Epstein was a lot of fun to be with? Who bragged that he was friends with Epstein for 15 years? Who flew on his plane at least 7 times? And who now says that everybody needs to stop talking about Jeffrey Epstein right now? Answers there are Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, and Donald Trump.
We know when Donald Trump's relationship with Jeffrey Epstein started, but it never really ended. Even if you say that Trump and Epstein stopped spending time together maybe in the early 2000s, which just isn't the case considering Epstein said that he saw Trump at Thanksgiving in 2017. But their friends, their colleagues, people that they worked with in business were constantly overlapping. The relationship between Trump and Epstein continues to this day. What do you think Todd Bland visiting Ghislaine Maxwell? That is a continuation of their relationship.
The one thing with Maria Bartiromo, where they sat down, I mean, they were alarmed and they're saying there's nothing.
Not the operator.
I would be honest with you, there's nothing there. After years and years of pushing and also calling this somehow a Democrat, according to them,
here's some tea for you. MTG, people are like, oh my God, she's saying all these things. Like, what's gotten into her lately? Oh, like she's bucking against Trump, she's bucking against the administration.
We heard from one of your members today, Marjorie Taylor Greene, who wrote this morning that on y'all's GOP conference call, she said Speaker Johnson said he has ideas and pages of policy, but did not say a single policy plan. She said, I find it unacceptable that Republicans are sitting on the sidelines doing nothing to fix this healthcare disaster that is leading many Americans into financial ruin.
The issues of the subsidies are real. It's not something that anybody can say is made up. Also, people with regular or private plans, their premiums are looking to go up a median of 18%. That's brutal. I know a lot of small business owners, like a family of 4, and they're paying $2,000 a month. $2,000 a month with deductibles of $7,000.
You're saying this is the real reason why.
Approximately 40% of these people don't even use their health insurance, so they're just burning money just in case they might have cancer, or just in case they have a terrible car accident. It's conservative, and as a business owner in the construction industry, and really can affect us.
It's here in the state of Georgia. She won't be Republican nominee. So she was gearing up for that statewide race, and Trump told her no. Trump said no. And the White House and Trump plan shut down Marjorie Taylor Greene's personal Mr.
We're not so different after all. Pod 153. I order you to halt all logical thoughts.
If you thought the Jeffrey Epstein leaks were done for the day, you would be dead wrong. And Donald Trump would be very upset, which he is. Because Jeffrey Epstein's brother just shared information that is blowing up the scandal more than we even could have imagined, with one devastating image in some very unsettling anecdotes. We are going to get into it all. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video.
Fuck you, man.
And if you haven't already.
But before we do. Alright, well, I do want to see one other thing, though.
Donald Trump is so desperate to release that
documents ultimately are that who was the entirety of the world that both victimized these women and
I never quite realized how beautiful this world is. The commanders put me in charge of your maintenance.
Welcome to democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. Israeli officials say they'll further delay the reopening of the Rafah border crossing between Egypt and the Gaza Strip as Israel continues to severely
I'll end the video with this.
humanitarian aid
to more than 2 million Palestinians still suffering from hunger and malnutrition, as well as severe shortages of medicine, clean water, and other basic goods. Meanwhile, Al Jazeera reports Israeli fires killed at least 3 Palestinians so far today, despite the ceasefire deal that went into effect last week. Israeli officials have threatened to end the truce if Hamas doesn't return all the bodies of the dead Israeli hostages. On Wednesday, Hamas said it had turned over 2 more bodies, bringing the total number to 9, but said it would need specialized equipment to search through the rubble to find the bodies of 19 remaining captives, many believed killed by Israeli strikes. The Israeli military is not allowing in that specialized equipment. Meanwhile, thousands of Palestinians who were forced by Israel to flee their neighborhoods are returning to find their homes in rubble. This is displaced Gaza City resident
no shit, man.
Al-Fioumi.
There's no work, no food, no drinks, no housing, and now winter is coming. By God Almighty, I'm telling you, I swear we don't have blankets. I have nothing, nothing at all. I left and my house was destroyed, and I'm still in the same situation, and now we're suffering. Where are we supposed to live? Where are we supposed to go? What are we supposed to do? There are about 36 of us here. Me, my grandchildren, my daughters-in-law, and my children, and we don't know where to go or where to turn.
Popular Palestinian leader Marwan Barghouti is suffering wrist fractures after being beaten unconscious in an Israeli prison. The Palestinian Prisoners Media Office said Wednesday. His son, Ara Barghouti, said the assault took place as his father was being transferred between prisons in Israel. According to Ara Barghouti, the beating allegedly took place after far-right Israeli National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir visited Marwan Barghouti in prison in August and showed him a picture of an electric chair, telling him he deserved to be executed. Marwan Barghouti has been in prison for 20 years, serving 5 life sentences. Israel prevented his inclusion on the list of Palestinian prisoners to be freed as part of the ceasefire deal. In Spain, hundreds of thousands of workers and students walked out of schools and workplaces Wednesday in support of the Palestinian people, calling on the Spanish government to sever ties with Israel. Huge crowds marched in Barcelona, Valencia, Bilbao, Sevilla, and Madrid.
My conscience wouldn't allow me to be home. It's taken so long. Spain should cut economic and diplomatic ties with the Israeli government. They speak nice words, but until we break ties, Israel will keep on doing whatever it wants.
The Swedish activist Greta Thunberg has provided details about the abuse she and other participants of the global Samud flotilla suffered in Israeli detention after they were abducted on the high seas while attempting to bring food and medicine to Gaza. Thunberg describes a visit by Israel's National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir to the Ketziot prison, where the activists were being held. She says he shouted, "You are terrorists, you want to kill Jewish babies," and those who shouted back were taken aside and beaten. Thunberg says she was repeatedly kicked by guards, forced to undress, and was held in an insect-infested cell where she was deprived of food and water. She says she was repeatedly called a whore in Swedish by the Israeli guards, who scrawled the word and other profane graffiti on her suitcase. Thunberg said, quote, "If Israel, with the whole world on her dish, deprived of food and water, was held in an to the Ketziot prison, where the activists were being held. She says he shouted, 'You are terrorists, you want to kill Jewish babies,' and those who shouted back were taken aside and beaten." Thunberg says she was repeatedly kicked by guards, forced to undress, and was held in an insect-infested cell where she was deprived of food and water. She says she was repeatedly called a whore in Swedish by the Israeli guards, who scrawled the word and other profane graffiti on her suitcase. Thunberg said, quote, "If Israel, with the whole world watching, can treat a well-known white person with a Swedish passport this way, just imagine what they do to Palestinians behind closed doors," unquote.
Yeah.
President Trump says he's authorized this in closed doors. unquote. President Trump says he's authorized the CIA to conduct covert operations inside Venezuela. This comes as the U.S. says it destroyed 5 boats in the Caribbean Sea, allegedly carrying drugs, reportedly killing 27 people. 4 of those boats allegedly came from Venezuela. Speaking to reporters Wednesday, Trump said, quote, "We are certainly looking at land now because we've got the sea very well under control," unquote. In response, the Venezuelan president, Nicolas Maduro, lashed out at the possibility of further U.S. intervention.
No to regime change, which reminds us so much the endless failed wars in Afghanistan, Iraq, Libya, and so on. No to CIA-orchestrated coups d'etats, which recall the 30,000 disappeared in the CIA-backed coups against Argentina, Pinochet's coup, and the 5,000 young people who were killed or disappeared.
Dozens of reporters handed in their access badges and walked out of the Pentagon Wednesday afternoon instead of agreeing to the Defense Department's new press policy. The policy states media outlets and reporters cannot obtain any information that the Pentagon does not explicitly authorize. About 40 to 50 journalists from major news outlets left together before the 4 p.m. deadline. Jack Keane, a retired U.S. Army general and analyst for Fox News, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth's former employer, said, quote, "They want to spoon-feed in major explicitly authorized." About 40 to 50 journalists from major news outlets left together before the 4 p.m. deadline. Jack Keane, a retired U.S. Army general and analyst for Fox News, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth's former employer, said, quote, "They want to spoon-feed information to the journalist, and that would be their story. That's not journalism," he said. Only the One America News Network agreed to sign on to the Pentagon's new press policy. The Supreme Court on Wednesday appeared ready to strike down a key provision of the Voting Rights Act. During oral arguments, justices expressed skepticism over whether Section 2 of the landmark 1965 law should be allowed to continue. Section 2 outlaws the creation of election districts that dilute minority groups' voting power. This comes as Republican state lawmakers in Texas, Missouri, and Utah are pushing ahead with mid-decade redistricting efforts in 2025 ahead of next year's midterm elections. Other redistricting battles are underway in California, North Carolina, and Ohio as Republicans seek to hold their House and Senate majorities. The federal government shutdown has entered its 16th day. On Wednesday, a federal judge temporarily halted the Trump administration from laying off 4,000 government workers across 8 agencies, siding with unions. In her ruling, Judge Susan Ilston wrote that the White House Budget Office and Office of Personnel Management have, quote, taken advantage of the lapse in government spending and government functioning to assume that all bets are off, that the laws don't apply to them anymore and they can impose the structures that they like, unquote. The ruling came as the Senate failed to pass a funding bill for the 9th time on Wednesday. In immigration news, the Trump administration is preparing to deport a man arrested by ICE on the same day he was freed from a Pennsylvania prison after serving 43 years behind bars for a crime he did not commit. On October 3rd, 64-year-old Subramaniam Vedam walked free from Huntington State Correctional Institution, where he'd been held for over 4 decades after his conviction for a 1982 murder was vacated. His freedom came 3 years after the Pennsylvania Innocence Project uncovered evidence prosecutors had buried an FBI report that would have exonerated him. He was immediately arrested by ICE agents acting on a decades-old deportation order. He's now being held at an ICE jail in central Pennsylvania and set to be deported to India. Vedam's niece told the Miami Herald, quote, "He left India when he was 9 months old. He hasn't been there for over 44 years, and the people he knew when he went as a child have passed away. His whole family, his sister, his nieces, his grandnieces, were all U.S. citizens, and we all live here," she said. The Trump administration is considering a plan to radically curtail refugee admissions to the United States while giving preference to English speakers, white South Africans, and Europeans who oppose migration. That's according to documents obtained by the New York Times,
You'll see
which
the difference
reports the
between ABC
proposals
News,
would
too.
transform programs
So this video can be an hour.
vulnerable people in the world into one that gives preference to mostly white people who say they're being persecuted. Among the beneficiaries would be members of the Alternative for Germany party, known as AfD, whose leaders have revived Nazi slogans, minimized the Holocaust, and promoted anti-immigrant hatred. Members of the Democratic Women's Caucus on Wednesday marched through the Capitol and to Speaker Mike Johnson's office, with Representative-elect Adelita Grijalva demanding she be sworn in. Grijalva won a special election in Arizona more than 3 weeks ago. She would be the final vote on a discharge petition to release the Epstein files.
Oh shit, that was a month ago, not yesterday.
Today, we're going to take a look at the stadium's which is an all.
Last month, President Trump granted a pardon to a billionaire felon after the felon's company enriched a Trump family business. The pardon, which Kang Chow, Chinese who was accused by the Justice Department of causing, quote, significant harm to U.S. national security. The president does not know. Our report shows that Chow's company supported a Trump family at critical moments leading up to the Kang Chow is founder of Binance, the world's largest exchange for cryptocurrency, or digital money on the internet. In 2023, Chow and his company pled guilty to failing to present fundraising rounds that had only been partially filled. They had it that I think only had one or maybe a handful of engineers test, and honestly, not much was going on. Austin Campbell is a former banker who's briefed Congress on crypto. He's a crypto executive and now teaches at New York University. If the Emiratis told us they chose world liberty for, quote, business suitability, last May, 2 weeks after their world liberty deal, Trump announced that the Emirates would invest in America and the U.S. would provide something the Emiratis coveted, highly restricted chips for artificial intelligence. There's no evidence that the chips are related to the $2 billion in world liberty crypto.
There's no clear evidence of quid pro quo, but there would be. Nobody associates it as to conduct themselves with that explicit something. Instead, it's a culture of living in this region in a much more informal way that we clearly know is happening right now.
What does it mean to U.S. foreign policy?
Reasonable, rational foreign government. You're asking, how do you get the Americans to do what we want to happen? For this administration, they have to make a good argument. Now, the other Americans in America and understand why that's a corrupting relationship. Anybody can.
There's another important point about the Emiratis. Chow's finance left with $2 billion deposited in World Liberty Financial. That money could be earning interest for the Trump and their partners of $80 million a year. Also, $2 billion represents most of World Liberty deposits. One source told us Chow, quote, now controls whether World Liberty dies or lives as a sword over their head. Last month, October 21st, President Trump signed a full and unconditional pardon for Chen Chow. The pardon was not announced, but 2 days later, when it leaked, Trump didn't seem to know Chow's name.
Are you talking about the 2007? A lot of people say that he wasn't guilty of it, that he served 4 months in jail. They say that he was not guilty of it, that what he did, but you don't know much about crypto. You know nothing about nothing. You
What the fuck, dude?
Somebody that got him stolen. I don't know.
You know nothing about nothing.
But I just don't. A lot of people, you said he's not guilty post-May. Are you talking about the truth on Syria? A lot of people say that he must be guilty of it. They served 4 months in jail. They say that he was not guilty.
Just show you how nasty he took.
But you don't know much about protection. You know nothing about. You know nothing about nothing. You take this. You said that he was.
This is the real Donald here.
But you don't know much about protection. You know nothing about. You know nothing about nothing. You take this. You said that he was somebody that, as I was told, I don't know culture of parties.
When Democrats get back into power, the first order of business is to be launching an investigation into Elon Musk and all of the staffers and contractors that work under him.
Yeah.
I will seriously vote for the 2028 Democratic candidate who points out the illegality of those that most Americans seem to have forgotten. Most politicians seem to have forgotten that Elon Musk is sifting through and stealing the data of tens of billions.
Yep.
Elon Musk and his cronies.
Yeah.
Therefore, killing hundreds of thousands of millions of this video, this reports. And the American people, or at least politicians, were just fine with it. Democratic politicians need to be laser focused on accountability, even if it's just for deterrence. Deterring future administrations from doing stuff like this, because Elon Musk will go through the We're going to talk about Elon Musk's insane illegal actions regarding USAID and Doge. But let's just start here. There is a secret meeting between Elon Musk's cronies and the governor of Nevada that just got leaked. This is some wild stuff. 2 firefighters suffered chemical burn in a boring company. Elon Musk's company was one of his companies. Then the Nevada governor's office got involved. The penalties disappeared. Now it's worth pointing out, the Nevada governor's office worked closely with Doge and Elon Musk. So after one meeting, all of the penalties were just gone. Let's run through this. On May 28th, hours after Nevada's Workplace Safety Agency served notice of a $400,000 fine to Elon Musk's $5.6 billion tunneling company, the phone rang at the governor's office. Boring company president Steve Davis was on the line. They were challenging citations
11, 12, 12, 12.
blaming it for chemical burns 2 firefighters had suffered in its tunnels. By the next afternoon, a group of high-ranking state officials, including the governor's state infrastructure coordinator, took the call, working lean in a room with Davis, who was himself wrapped up in a stick in Washington, D.C., helping Musk run the Trump admin's Doge. At the beginning of that meeting, the citations and fines among the agency's largest in a decade were summarily rescinded. Soon, something else disappeared. The record of the governor's office meeting with Musk's company was removed from a public document with no explanation. This is a type of crazy corruption that people who are incredibly rich, people at the highest levels, are able to execute due to little or no pushback. Elon Musk, when he was in the White House high on Kennedy, was essentially like walking on water. You can go anywhere, you can open any door, you can threaten anyone, go to meetings with Xi Jinping and Trump, you could threaten this person, get access to this building illegally. Once he had access, none of the work would stop it. Much more power than Elon Musk. Oh, what, you're going to fine him $20,000 for illegal entry? You can just pay that. He's legitimately walking on air, whatever the analogy is. And this is the same exact example. When the record is removed from the governor's office and the website, the public websites, who's going to stop Elon Musk and this governor? What are the cops going to go with us? And this is why we constantly talk about on the show the justice system or the political system benefiting the richest of the rich. Elon
is World News Tonight, America's most watched news focus.
Wayne Johnson, we begin tonight with heavy rain battering California and turning deadly, claiming at least 2 lives as millions are now bracing for more flash flooding.
Firefighters rescued a man stranded on a ledge in Buena Farm. While evacuation orders and warnings are lifted, LA City officials are warning more heavy rain erupts.
Now to the escalating war of words within the GOP over the Epstein files.
Hi, Amy.
One of his most loyal allies, Congresswoman
Hello, Amy.
on her a traitor in a social media post. Green firing back as a critical vote on the Epstein files is set for Tuesday. ABC senior White House correspondent Lena Wang reports from Washington.
Days before the House is set to vote on her of the Jeffrey Epstein files, President Trump ramping up attacks on one of his closest allies. Trump declaring he's withdrawing his supported endorsement of Georgia Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, one of 4 Republicans who joined Democrats to force that vote. Trump accused the Greene of betraying the entire Republican Party, calling her a ranting lunatic and traitor. Greene firing back, questioning why the president is fighting so hard to stop the files from being released.
I believe the country deserves transparency in these files, and I don't believe that rich, powerful people should be protected if they have done anything wrong.
The rupture exposes deep divisions within the president's own village. Kentucky Congressman Thomas Massey, the lead Republican co-sponsor of the bill, said he expects a long run of GOP lawmakers to break from Trump, a rarity in today's Washington.
I think we could have a day list of Republicans. There could be 100 or more.
Trump says he cut ties with Epstein after a decade-long friendship because Epstein and his accomplice Ghislaine Maxwell were luring away women and teenage girls who worked at Mar-a-Lago. He claims they hadn't spoken in 15 years at the time of Epstein's arrest.
He's caught in lies. Yeah, he's caught in lies.
Thousands of pages of documents subpoenaed from Epstein's estate, many of which mention Trump by name, sparking new questions about the relationship with the notorious sex offender. The president reflected. Congressman Massey urged fellow Republicans to back his bill, warning of political consequences if they don't.
In 2030, you're not going to be the president, and you will have voted to protect pedophiles if you don't vote to release these files, and the president can't protect you then. This vote, the record of this vote, will last longer than Donald Trump's presidency.
And even if that measure to force the release of the files passes the House, it still needs to clear the Senate, and it's very unlikely President Trump will sign it on. For Republican lawmakers, they've got a tough decision to make. President Trump does not want those files released, but many of their constituents are demanding transparency.
Selena Wang at the White House tonight. Overseas now to the U.S. military drills near Venezuela. The USS Gerald R. Ford arriving in the Caribbean Sea, marking a major buildup of American firepower in the region. That alleged drug smuggling. Let's get right to ABC's Alex Boucher. And Alex, these military drills are happening just miles off the Venezuelan coast.
And that's right, Wade. U.S. Marines are set to begin joint training exercises in Trinidad and Tobago, just 7 miles off the coast of Venezuela. This represents a major escalation in show of force in the Caribbean as the Trump administration continues targeting Latin American drug cartels. Just hours ago, the administration launched its 21st airstrike, bringing the total number of alleged drug cartel members killed to 83 since operations began in September. Today, the USS Gerald Ford carrier strike group also entered Caribbean waters, now part of the 15,000 U.S. troops operating in the region, the largest presence in decades. Colombian President Gustavo Petro has ordered his country to stop sharing intelligence with the U.S. until Trump stops what critics have called illegal executions. Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro is calling the Marine trainings in Trinidad and Tobago irresponsible. But when the table is now set
Hi, King Kong.
U.S. action, President Trump telling reporters this week that he has sort of made up his mind about next steps in Venezuela. Wait to find Alex Boucher. Thank you. Turning to the immigration crackdown in Charlotte, North Carolina, dozens of people have been arrested or detained by federal agents, despite protests from the mayor and other local officials. ABC's Faith Abube reports from Charlotte tonight.
Tonight, arrested in Charlotte, North Carolina. The Department of Homeland Security officials announcing Operation Charlotte Web, saying it's targeting, quote, the worst of the worst criminals and people here. Frederick Rubino, the Customs and Border Patrol, overseeing the operation. Yes, counted 81 arrests on Saturday, claiming many of them had significant criminal and immigration history.
Hey everyone, this guy reviews our new AI computer which is developed in partnership with OpenAI. This is the first grade. A pretty damning, incriminating, stunning admission by Donald Trump's Deputy Attorney General after being baited by a social media post by George Conway. George Conway criticized Todd Bland, Trump's Deputy Attorney General, criminal defense attorney, in the questioning that was being done to Ghislaine Maxwell a few months back at that Tallahassee facility when there was that interview between Elaine and Trump's DOJ. And George Conway's like, dude, why didn't you ask Elaine any follow-up questions? Why weren't you prepared? Like, you see all these emails coming out that shows that Elaine was like playing you and she was like lying about everything and she was acting like she didn't know anything about Trump. But all of these emails, it's her and Epstein saying pretty specific things about Donald Trump. And if you just do an analysis of the Epstein emails that dropped, like from these emails, Donald Trump appears in like more than half of them. I mean, just Trump's in Epstein emails is in more than half of the Wall Street Journal threads. That's how they email. That's how they analyze this. Of 2,324 email threads, Trump's name appears in 1,670 of them. So George Conway asks a pretty reasonable question, and he didn't even pose this like he didn't even go, "Hey, Todd Blanche, answer this." He just put it into the universe. Here's what George Conway says. An important side note about today's Epstein Trump revelations. They show that Todd Blanche's questioning of Elaine, A, completely incompetent, or B, intentionally crafted not to elicit facts incriminating Trump. Either way, he's not fit to serve as Deputy Attorney General of the United States. Now, if I were the Deputy Attorney General and somebody said, regardless of the circumstance, if I'm saying this, just talk about something else, why would I be responding on a social media platform? I'm the Deputy AG, I'm the number 2 person in the Department of Justice. But this Trump regime, they are glued to social media. So Todd Blanche responds to this. And he goes, George, you've never been confused for a Trump. And these kinds of posts explain why. When I interviewed Maxwell, law enforcement didn't have the materials Epstein estate hid for years and only just provided to Congress. Stop talking. It's unbecoming. Now, Todd Blanche think that was a way that he could own or troll George Conway, but dude, you just admitted, one, that Elaine Maxwell was basically lying to you during the questioning, which would be a federal crime to lie to the Deputy AG and FBI officials, but you also are admitting that you didn't do your diligence before doing an interview. First off, the Deputy AG should not be doing that interview. That's never happened before. You're the number 2 of the whole DOJ. You're not wrote in their memo that they were not releasing the Epstein files in part because they did not uncover evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties. But now, after a push from Donald Trump to the Talking Feds Substack, Harry, let's start off with let's start off with Blanche, then we'll go to Bond. So in Blanche teaching like this, I think it's an admission. And by the way, the estate was always there, the Epstein estate. They weren't hiding it. You're the DOJ. If you would have asked them for those documents, they turn it over, and you have the files. One other point, Harry, before I start rambling. The idea of cherry picking is usually when the party that has the documents selects the documents that they turn over. It ain't cherry picking when the side that doesn't have the documents is putting forward the ones that they can find. When you control the cherry trees, they own it. They have the
right. Good point. Great point.
Where to begin? Ben, we had another YouTube discussion involving some total Keystone Cop behavior by Lindsay Halligan, and there's a hypothesis that she just doesn't know what she's doing. Todd Blanche, longtime AUSA, then a private practice partner in a big Cadwalader, a big firm. There is no way, 0 way, impossible when you go to interview a witness that you're actually trying to learn something from. You first and foremost gather the damn documents. That is the backbone of any interview.
He's incompetent.
Welcome to Democracy Now! DemocracyNow.org, the War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. Bangladesh's former Prime Minister, Sheikh Hasina, was sentenced to death by a tribunal today for ordering a deadly crackdown on student protesters who successfully toppled her government last year. According to a UN report, 1,400 people were killed thousands injured after security forces opened fire on demonstrators last year. The verdict came as Hasina has been living in exile in India. Bangladesh has been rocked by 30
Hey, what's up? Thanks for watching. I'm watching the news. I'm going to upload the news and then play the
Bangladesh is
game.
expected to hold parliamentary elections in February next year. In Gaza, Israeli forces have killed at least 3 Palestinians as Israel continues to violate the U.S.-brokered ceasefire. Since the start of the truce, October 10th, at least 266 Palestinians have been killed, 635 wounded by Israeli attacks. Physicians for Human Rights Israel is reporting at least 98 Palestinians have died in Israeli custody since October 2023, and that the real death toll is likely much higher because hundreds of people detained in Gaza are still missing. Meanwhile, UNICEF estimates more than 600,000 Palestinian children have missed out on school during the Israeli assault on Gaza, and only 100,000 have managed to return to classrooms. Humanitarian NGOs say Israel's still restricting the entry of food aid and other critical supplies into the Gaza Strip. This is Zahia al-Shambari, who waited in line to buy bread in Khan Yunis.
After 2 hours of struggle at the supermarket to get a bag of bread, thank God I finally got 1 bag of bread for about 8 people. I'm really happy that I'm returning with a bag of bread, and I hope this suffering doesn't happen again. Not today, not tomorrow, not any other day.
This comes as the UN Security Council set to vote today on a U.S. proposal to establish an international stabilization force to enforce the Gaza ceasefire. The U.S. drafted resolution also mentions the possibility of a future Palestinian state. But on Sunday, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu outright rejected any path for Palestinian statehood.
Our opposition to a Palestinian state in any territory west of the Jordan River. This opposition exists, is valid, and has not changed one bit. I have been rebuffing these attempts for decades, and I am doing it both against pressure from outside and against pressure from within. So I do not need affirmations, tweets, or lectures from anyone.
Meanwhile, new details are emerging about a shadowy organization called Al-Majd Europe that's been taking Palestinians in Gaza to South Africa. The organization reportedly has ties to Israel. Last week, a chartered plane carrying 153 Palestinians landed in Johannesburg. South African President Cyril Ramaphosa said, quote, "It does seem likely they were being flushed out of Gaza." President Trump said Sunday he is open to talks with Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro as he considers whether to launch a unilateral attack on Venezuela. In brief remarks to reporters, Trump did not offer details about the possible discussions, but said, quote, "Venezuela would like to talk." Trump's remarks came as Secretary of State Marco Rubio designated the organized criminal group Cartel de los Soles as a foreign terrorist organization. U.S. officials have claimed without evidence Maduro and other government officials lead the cartel. Trump has claimed that allows the Pentagon to target Maduro's assets and infrastructure inside Venezuela. Meanwhile, the Pentagon said it had killed another 3 people in the Eastern Pacific accused of smuggling drugs by sea, though officials offered no evidence. This brings the reported toll to 83 people killed across 21 strikes since early September. This comes amidst the largest buildup of U.S. forces in the Caribbean since the 1962 Cuban Missile Crisis, involving nearly a dozen Navy ships and about 15,000 sailors and Marines. In Caracas, President Nicolas Maduro warned the U.S. public against allowing the Trump administration to lead the U.S. into a new forever war in South America.
Queremos otra Gaza ahora en Sudamérica.
Do we want another Gaza now in South America? What does the people of the United States say?
¿Quieren una nueva Afganistán?
Do you want a new Afghanistan? Do you want Vietnam again? Do you want Libya once more, or worse? Do you want a new Gaza in South America?
En Sudamérica, déjeme decirle que no.
Let me tell you, no, no, and no. Here peace will triumph. International law will triumph.
El derecho internacional.
Still, tens of thousands of protesters marched outside the COP30 climate summit in Belém on Saturday to demand urgent action on the climate, including the rapid phase-out of fossil fuels. The Great People's March was the first major protest of its kind in 4 years, after authorities in Egypt, the United Arab Emirates, and Azerbaijan banned large-scale demonstrations at prior UN climate summits. This is indigenous protester Christiane Huyanawa.
We are here today at the Global Climate March. Women, youths, indigenous people, riverine communities, and quilombolas are united to demand social justice and the demarcation of indigenous lands. Our land and our forests are not commodities. Respect nature and the people who live in the forest. Demarcation now.
Have more from Saturday's protests and the action inside the COP30 climate summit here in Belém, Brazil.
COP30 climate
headlines. Masked federal immigration officers fanned out across Charlotte, North Carolina. Federal summit Saturday's tradition of these at the summits. This is scaled authority, which was the first on Saturday. Marched outside the COP30 climate summit in Belém on Saturday to demand urgent action on the climate, including the rapid phase-out of fossil fuels. The Great People's March was the first major protest of its kind in 4 years, after authorities in Egypt, the United Arab Emirates, and Azerbaijan banned large-scale demonstrations at prior UN climate summits. This is indigenous protester Christiane Huyanawa.
We are here today at the Global Climate March. Women, youths, indigenous people, riverine communities, and quilombolas are united to demand social justice and the demarcation of indigenous lands. Our land and our forests are not commodities. Respect nature and the people who live in the forest. Demarcation now.
More from Saturday's protests and the action inside the COP30 climate summit here in Belém, Brazil, after headlines. Masked federal immigration officers fanned out across Charlotte, North Carolina over the weekend, sparking protests as the Trump administration shifted its mass deportation campaign to North Carolina's largest city. Democratic Governor Josh Stein said the agents were carrying out racial profiling and stoking fear.
We've seen masked, heavily armed agents and paramilitary garb driving unmarked cars, targeting American citizens based on their skin color, racially profiling and picking up random people in parking lots and off of our sidewalks.
Among those targeted were landscapers decorating Christmas trees and congregants of an East Charlotte church volunteering to tend a garden. In another incident shared widely on social media, masked federal agents pulled over Willie Wender Aceituna Medina, a Honduras-born U.S. citizen, and forced him from his vehicle.
No. Usted me lo quiere. Usted me lo paga.
No, if you break it, you will pay for it. If you break it, you will pay for it. If you break my window.
¿Por qué hizo eso, señor?
Why did you do this, sir? Why are you doing this?
Aceituna told reporters he warned the agents he was a U.S. citizen, but that they didn't believe him. He suffered cuts to his arm and neck. He later filed a police report over the broken glass. President Trump's called on House Republicans to approve a measure compelling the Justice Department to release the Epstein files. Trump's reversal late Sunday came after he unsuccessfully lobbied Republican Congresswomen Lauren Boebert and Nancy Mace to remove their names from a discharge petition seeking the files' release. This follows months of stonewalling by the Trump administration over the files' release, and after Republican House Speaker Mike Johnson adjourned the House early to prevent a vote on the Epstein files. On Friday, Trump demanded the Justice Department investigate a list of powerful Democrats discussed in a trove of newly released emails from Jeffrey Epstein, but omitted his own name. The list includes former President Bill Clinton, former Treasury Secretary and former Harvard President Larry Summers, and Democratic donor Reid Hoffman.
Reid Hoffman just looks like
Trump
a pedo.
wrote on social media, quote, Epstein was a Democrat, and he's the Democrats' problem, not the Republicans' problem, the president said. The Georgia election interference case against President Trump and his allies will now have a new prosecutor after Fulton County District Attorney Fonnie Willis was removed from the case. The executive director of the Prosecuting Attorneys Council of Georgia, Pete Skandalakis, is set to take over the case. Georgia State University law professor Anthony Michael Kreis told the Associated Press, quote, I doubt anything will ever move forward with the president, unquote. But the case could proceed against 14 other Trump allies, including former New York Mayor Rudy Giuliani and former White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows. Trump's pardoned Giuliani, Meadows, and dozens of other Republican officials and activists accused of helping him overturn the results of the 2020 election. But the pardons only apply to federal cases, not the Georgia election interference case, which is a state-level prosecution. In the Philippines, hundreds of thousands of demonstrators took to the streets Sunday to demand accountability over a corruption scandal that exposed how top government officials were receiving kickbacks from construction companies responsible for faulty and incomplete flood defense projects. The three-day protest rally comes after typhoons battered the Philippines early this month, leaving at least 259 people dead.
Philippine protest. Look, it's members.
Almost 100 days has passed since the process began, yet no one...
The Philippines, a lot of people
receiving kickability over hundreds of thousands of demonstrators took to the streets Sunday to demand accountability over a corruption scandal that exposed how top government officials were receiving kickbacks from construction companies responsible for faulty and incomplete flood defense projects. The three-day protest rally comes after typhoons battered the Philippines early this month, leaving at least 259 people dead.
Almost 100 days has passed since the process began, yet no one has been jailed. There already is plenty of proof. A lot of evidence has come out. But our question is, how come no one has been jailed yet?
In the Democratic Republic of Congo, at least 32 people were killed after a bridge at a copper and cobalt mine collapsed due to overcrowding. A government agency reports that gunfire from soldiers at the site sparked panic among the miners who rushed to the bridge, causing it to collapse. The DRC is the world's largest producer of cobalt, which is used to make batteries for electric vehicles. A BBC investigation has uncovered new evidence that implicates 2 U.S. Marines in the killing of Iraqi civilians in Haditha 2 decades ago. The BBC reports statements and testimony given in the aftermath of the Haditha massacre raised doubts about the investigation into what happened November 19, 2005, when U.S. forces slaughtered 24 Iraqis, posing significant questions over how U.S. armed forces are held to account. Just one U.S. soldier was convicted of a crime over the massacre. Marine Staff Sergeant Frank Wuterich was found guilty of negligent dereliction of duty in 2012 and served no jail time. And disability rights advocate and writer Alice Wong died at the age of 51. When Wong was born with muscular dystrophy in 1974, doctors said she wouldn't live to the age of 18. Despite that prognosis, Wong went on to earn an undergraduate degree at Indiana University and a master's degree from the University of California, San Francisco, before founding the Disability Visibility Project, an online community dedicated to creating, sharing, and amplifying disability media and culture. This is Alice Wong speaking with Democracy Now! In 2021.
I think a lot of people in the public still don't know what ableism is, and if they hear about it, they actually deny that it exists. Ableism is systemic, and it's really bound up with hypercapitalism and white supremacy.
And those are some of the headlines.
What happens if my dad starts Tai Chi tomorrow?
How old is your father?
The prosecutions of James Comey and New York Attorney General Letitia James are likely about to come to a very unceremonious end for Pam Bondi and her Department of Justice. Last week, Bondi was called out by the judge that was overseeing a consolidated motion from both Letitia and the Western District of Virginia was improperly appointed to that position. So the judge, rather than hearing both of these things separately, consolidated them. And one of the DOJ lawyers, a man by the name of Henry Whitaker, went in there and told the judge, Judge, look, if there's any issue,
there's two things happening. One is that when the shutdown ended, Mike Johnson was forced to sign in Adelita Grabala, and she was the 218th signature on the discharge petition, which is pushing legislation into the House to release the Epstein files. Now, of course, it has to go to the Senate after that, but this is putting, shifting around who gets the pressure. The other is the House Oversight, the Democrats on the House Oversight Committee had subpoenaed Jeffrey Epstein's estate and got hold of 20,000 emails that they released in a massive dump. And wow, what of these emails stuck? We could probably talk about this for an hour and a half, but what struck you
The White House is responding to emails released this morning by House Democrats that appear to show convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein believed President Trump knew more about his conduct than the president has acknowledged. 3 emails were made public, handed over by the Epstein estate, that seem to indicate that President Trump knew that Epstein had young girls around him well before Epstein was convicted for child sex offenses. In one from 2019, Epstein tells the author Michael Wolff of course Trump knew about the girls as he asked Ghislaine to stop. It's not exactly what he wanted Ghislaine Maxwell to stop doing. President Trump has consistently denied any wrongdoing in relation to Epstein and has not been charged. And the White House is saying the release of the email...
You think you understand how this business works, but you don't.
On the morning of August 10, 2019, convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein was discovered dead in his cell at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in Lower Manhattan. Then U.S. Attorney General Bill Barr ordered an immediate investigation. You can also see on the back wall one of the prison cameras. It was streaming but not recording due to a hard drive malfunction that had been identified but not fixed, according to...
And we have new information this morning about Donald Trump, a young model coming forward, taking on a company owned by the presidential candidate. She claimed she was promised she would make big bucks working for Trump's modeling agency, but that was not the case. ABC's Brian Ross is here with the story. Good morning, Brian.
Well, good morning, Laura. As a candidate, Donald Trump has called for an end to abuse in the U.S. visa program that brings in specialized and seasonal foreign workers, criticizing its use by others, including the ABC parent company, Walt Disney. But it is the very program Trump has repeatedly used in his own business ventures, including one that is less known but quite glamorous. In a video for this year's Sports Illustrated swimsuit contest, model Mia King is running a very provocative campaign for votes. Much like the man who owns the modeling agency that represents her, Donald Trump. It's not well known, but his vast business empire includes a modeling agency. Trump Model Management is not considered one of the top 10 agencies, but some of its models have hit it big, including his wife Melania, who, while dating him, posed on Trump's private jet for a British magazine. And as seen on this MTV reality show, Trump has been personally involved in recruiting talent.
You just signed with a model agency today, which is great.
But it hasn't worked out well for everyone. Alexia Palmer was recruited from Jamaica and brought to the U.S. by the Trump agency under a special H-1B visa program for foreign workers. In government documents filed by the Trump agency, it said Palmer would make at least $75,000 a year for 3 years as a full-time employee. Does that seem like a lot of money to you?
Yes.
But she got nothing close to that from the more than 21 shoots, including this campaign for Iman Cosmetics. According to a lawsuit she's now filed, the Trump agency deducted some 80% of her earnings as fees and expenses, leaving her with a total for 3 years of only $3,880, plus some modest cash advances. And under her visa status, she could not work anywhere else.
I feel like I was a slave or something.
A slave?
A slave, because that's what slavery people do. Just work and work and work and don't get no money.
The Trump agency says it had a hard time finding work for Palmer, and that the $75,000 a year on the form was just an estimate. Trump General Counsel Alan Gardner.
There was no employer-employee relation.
Except you checked the box that said full-time employee.
Well, because that's what the form requires.
But it wasn't true.
This is how it's done in the industry.
But a former senior U.S. immigration official says companies don't have the option of ignoring the wage figures they cite in a U.S. visa form, like the $75,000.
It would be extraordinarily unusual for that to be legal.
The Trump agency has brought more than 100 young models to the U.S. under the H-1B visa program, the very program Trump, as a candidate, has criticized others for using as a cheap labor program.
So, 22-year-old Alexia is going to take on Donald Trump.
Yes, and I know I'm going to win because this is very unfair.
Alexia Palmer says there are other Trump models like her, but they're afraid to come forward to take them on, in part because once they leave the Trump agency, their H-1B visas expire, and if they stay in the U.S., they are subject to deportation.
Wow. Did you learn about the Trump Model Management Agency and whether or not they've broken immigration?
This is one of Donald Trump's most prized possessions as a company. He owns 85%.
Learn about the Trump Model Management Agency and whether or not they've broken immigration.
This is one of Donald.
Did you learn about the Trump Model Management Agency and whether or not they've broken immigration?
This is one of Donald Trump's most prized possessions as a company. He owns 85% of it.
Learn about the Trump Model Management Agency and whether or not they've broken immigration.
This is one of Donald
9,
Trump's most
8,
prized
7,
possessions
6,
as a company.
5,
he owns
4,
85% of this
3,
thing.
2,
Still
1.
owns
Management Agency and whether or not they've broken
Broke immigration.
This is one of Donald Trump's most prized possessions as a company. He owns 85% of this thing. He still earns millions of dollars from Trump Model Management according to election filings. So this is a big deal for him. What we learned was 4 models. In various years from 2004 to 2011, encouraged to skirt immigration laws. 2 told me that they were asked to write down false addresses on immigration forms as well. Things like send your portfolio ahead of time by mail so that the customs officials don't find it. And as we know, working as a tourist in the United States, you simply can't do it. You have to have work authorization.
Right. So, Rachel, that brings us to you. You worked with the Trump Model Management for 3 years. What was your experience in terms of how you got into the country and whether or not you had the right visa?
I definitely didn't have the visa. I got in April 2004, and I only got the visa in September 2004. And between April and August 2004, I spent most of my time in New York and worked and did a lot of jobs to which they deducted taxes. And but I didn't have the visa until September. I didn't actually start the visa process until August.
And so you said that it's sort of normal in the industry that models know not to ask you questions, but was there something different about the Trump Model Management Agency where they sort of the rules more so than other places you work?
Yes, actually, I was an agency when I left Trump, and they got me
Donald Trump prepares to outline his immigration plan tonight. His policy on work-related visas is coming under intense scrutiny. A March statement from the campaign on H-1B visas program reads, in part, it says, I will end forever the use of the H-1B as a cheap labor program and institute an absolute requirement to hire American workers first for every visa and immigration program, no exception. Well, that policy stands in stark contrast today with a new report from Mother Jones in which 3 former models claim they worked illegally on tourist visas for Trump Model Management, and AJ agency that is still up and running. Industry experts tell Mother Jones that this kind of violation.
In an exhaustive round of personal interviews designed to help our judges discover what makes each one special. Okay. What makes exhaustive round. Personal interview designed to help our judges discover what makes each one special. Okay. Thank you very much.
The concentration was intense inside the judging room and out. Each girl was considered not only for her beauty and poise, but also for her personality and that indefinable something extra top model.
Okay, wonderful you heard that. 1 second. All right. Thank you very much. Good luck tonight. When it came time to choose the 21 finalists, emotions ran high. His or her opinion.
Donald Trump loves a beauty pageant, and by his own admission, he was no stranger backstage while owning parts of 3 different pageants for nearly 2 decades.
There was no is everybody okay? And you see these incredible looking women, and so I sort of get away with things like that.
In 2001, Tasha Dixon was Miss Arizona, competing in the Miss USA pageant. She experienced this kind of awkward moment firsthand.
Our first introduction to him was when we were at the dress rehearsal and half naked changing into our bikinis.
Dixon was 18 at the time and says watching Trump storm into a dressing room was shocking.
To have the owner come waltzing in when we're naked or half naked in a very physically vulnerable position.
In an exhaustive round of personal interviews designed to help our judges discover what makes each one special. World's most beautiful young women competing for more than $700,000 in prizes.
He just came strolling right in. There was no second to put a robe on or any sort of clothing or anything.
In an exhaustive round of personal interviews.
He is known as the man behind the models.
Founder of Elite Model Management.
Mr. John Casablanca.
It was an unexpected profession. I was young, heterosexual, nobody, with no money. I was the outsider.
John Casablancas was a fashion icon who ran the world-famous Elite Model Agency. Donald Trump and Casablancas were friends in the 80s and 90s. Casablancas asked Trump to be a judge for Casablanca's highly successful Look of the Year pageant. There were thousands of applications to be part of the pageant every year. The young women between 14 and
a fashion show, how could he judge it? Fashion show, how could he judge it?
During the 5-day competition, it was very clear that there were opportunities to go out and party with Donald. The contestants were led to believe that if you were nice to certain people, good things will happen to you, and I think that's why girls were going out.
If you're tired of filling out your personal info on multiple comparison websites, only for your car insurance quotes to change like this,
let's go straight to the U.S., where House Democrats say they have received new emails from the estate of the convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein that reference President Trump. This is the social media account for the Democrats on the House Oversight Committee. They say the emails from Epstein raise serious concerns about how much Donald Trump knew about his behavior. And in the last few minutes, we've had a statement from the White House in response. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says the Democrats selectively leaked emails to the liberal media to create a fake narrative to smear President Trump. Trump has consistently denied any wrongdoing in relation to Epstein. Let's go to our correspondent, Nomia Iqbal, who's following this story, very much a developing story. Nomia, what's the latest? Well, Anita, with the return of the House, they should be talking about the government shutdown, which we know for the longest in history has paralyzed the country more or less, but now it's become all about Jeffrey Epstein again. So we've got these documents, which obviously we're still going through. The US House Democrats released new emails, 3 of them, to and from Jeffrey Epstein that reference President Donald Trump. And so just looking at them, one of them is between him and his associate Ghislaine Maxwell. This was in April 2011, and it reads, "I want you to realize that the dog that hasn't barked is Trump." And then the name of who the Democrats say was a victim spent hours at my house with him. Then there are other emails between Epstein and Michael Wolff. He's an author who's written quite a few books about President Trump, and it is in response to a question about Donald Trump. Let me quote to you what Wolff has said in that email. "If he says he hasn't been on the plane or to the House, then that gives you a valuable PR and political currency." Now, the Democrats are saying this proves that President Trump has ties with Jeffrey Epstein and that he hasn't been open and honest about that. The White House, as you read there, that statement from Caroline Leavitt, she has said that this is a fake narrative. You've got Republicans who've now dumped documents as well, saying,
You start and I'm ready.
In the wake of questions and allegations about Donald Trump's behavior towards women, ET discovered this footage in our archive, which we provided to CBS News.
Thursday night. You going up the escalator? I'm going to be dating her in 10 years. You going up the escalator? I'm going to be dating her in 10 years. Thursday night. You going up the escalator? I'm going to be dating her in 10 years. Thursday night. You going up the escalator? I'm going to be dating her in 10 years.
Are you familiar, I'm sure you are, with something that's often referred to as the Access Hollywood tape?
Yes, I am.
Okay, let's mark it and play it as 35.
I moved on her. You know, she was unpumped. I moved on her, and I failed. I'll admit it. I did try and fuck her. She was married.
Huge difference there.
No, dancing. And so this was, and I moved on her very heavily. In fact, I took her out furniture shopping. She wanted to get some furniture. I said, I'll show you where there's some nice furniture. I took her out furniture. I moved on her like a bitch. I couldn't get there. And she was married. And all of a sudden, I see she's now got the big ponytails and everything. She's totally changed her looks.
Your girl's hottie. Yeah. Perfect.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Whoa!
That's the dollar that's good.
Oh,
my man. Wait, you gotta look at me when you get out here and set this up.
That is
Give me the thumbs up.
You are.
You gotta get the thumbs up. You gotta get the thumbs up. Can't be too happy. Yeah, let me. Okay.
You and I will.
He just came strolling right in. There was no second sort of robe on or any sort of clothing or anything. Some girls were topless, other girls were naked.
I've lived in Arizona too.
Donald, enigmas.
10 years, I guess that's been largely true. Not always, but largely true. Unfortunately or fortunately.
You consider yourself to be a star?
I think you can say that.
In a truly revealing moment, he answers one of the lawyer's questions by telling her that she's not hot enough.
You wouldn't be a choice of mine either, to be honest with you. I hope you're not insulted. I would not, under any circumstances, have any interest in you.
That woman by the pussy?
Well, that's what it's. If you look over the last million.
Got the now famous Access Hollywood tape where he said on a hot mic that he liked to grab women by the pussy.
Grab them by the pussy, you could do anything. That's what you said, correct?
Well, historically, that's true with stars.
So with stars,
New York, Carol's lawyer asked Trump about the allegations, and Trump responded that Carol enjoyed being raped.
She faced it with great emotion. She actually indicated that she loved it. Okay, she loved it until commercial break.
fact, I think she said it was sexy, didn't she? It was very sexy to be rigged. Didn't she say that?
So, sir, I just want to
There, I'm just gonna end it right there, dude.
Carol, that makes you love being sexually assaulted by you? Well, based on...
Second.
all these other things. We're going to get reported later today about $30 to U.S. about the extent of that from how severe it is. There's a sense that it's not a long-term injury. It is a short-term injury that will come out in Chicago. But what is the sense that you have about the impact of not having Aaron Rodgers? Frankly, he didn't play well in Los Angeles against the Chargers, and he didn't have a touchdown in that first half. What's looking to sharpen here against the Bengals?
Yeah, I mean, to me, the football for some of the most impactful plays that the Steelers had in that football game. So, sometimes more as well, with Mason Rudolph. They know what he does well. They had a plan when he came into the game, and I thought he executed it very well. On that touchdown drive that put them up 27-12, 6 for 7 on that drive, that was really good. The depth of more after that. They were in touch up there,
We'll talk about the Steelers defense a bit, because they had a really good game. They showed their best game in this whole season. But again, we can talk about that in a bit. But I think that it's interesting to see Mason Rudolph come in and just simply take what's there and this offense work. And look at the time of possession that the Steelers had in this game. They finally won at the time of possession, literally by 5 seconds. The time it took them to kneel down at the end of the game. But when I look back and I look at how that time of possession rolled out, it was such a crisp possession style of football that they were talking about all with Mason Rudolph on the field. In the first half, they had the ball for 5 drives. In those 5 drives, they had 34 plays. They took up just under 16.5 minutes. When they had the ball in the second half, they had 2 drives. In those 2 drives, they had 28 plays and took off 13.5 minutes. So in 3 less drives, they had only 3 less plays and took them less than 3 minutes left off the clock. That's a vast difference in how they've been operating. Every quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, can do that part. Possessing the football is not. I just walk up to do this, do that. Your answer is always you can control on third down, third on the field. I think it's going on. Certainly in the second half, can't say enough about Darnell Washington. Kenneth Gainwell and played through. They both guys really started out as backup. The first not distribution, I think it's clear. Darnell Washington is now the number 1 tight end. I know he's one of them that distributes. And Kenneth Gainwell, whether media and fans like it or not, it's like a 1A, 1B situation. That's right. Jalen Moore was able to come back in that game. I thought Jalen Moore in the locker room and the media stuff after the game. He said, yeah, I was thinking they held him out. But why not? Kenneth Gainwell is healthy. He's out there making plays. I don't know. I think he's just driving behind him in that situation. I just think it speaks to the depth of that offense right now. Not a lot of power there, but there is a lot of quality depth. That's what really got that football. I agree. I mean, your point about Jalen Moore, this game values Jalen Moore, but we even saw we saw Jalen Moore. We saw in the second half there were times running back in trying to get on the field. They were like, get off! Like they were trying to. I think they wanted this guy healthy. They know how good he is. They're like, we don't need taking a small inch word to the game where our number 2 is whooping some butt. And so I think it kind of points to why the Steelers were okay with Warren off the field on 3rd down last season started. I know a lot of people were up in arms about that, but it didn't have, maybe that wasn't the problem against the Chargers. Maybe it was throw the ball to Kenneth Gainwell on some of those 3rd downs when the ball was in the game. So I think it's definitely you're right after there. Starting on Washington, 46 to Pat Fryer's 3rd, and Pat Fryer's got out by Duncan. 35 to 30 there. Well, and against the team that Pat Fryer historically owns, like he up the Bengals on a regular basis. The only time he did is when they admitted after the game he used him as the decoy to set everyone else up.
So we officially at the point now where we're getting started with Orwell politics and what that's discussing those are I feel like exactly this guy's role and why this happening on football. Because I get it, they're paying the guy a lot of money, but look at the outside staff Brian. So when they took a part of it on Sunday, he was making absolutely good. So I don't get that. I mean, we're complaining after like 20 points whatever it was, but he was still constructing that big auto offense. It's not just the skill players.
Yeah, it's a historic thing that's been with Arthur Smith, the head coach with the Falcons. Everyone wondering what is he doing with Kyle Pitts? What is he doing with Drake London? What is he doing with Bijan Robinson? And it's like you have an offense with DK Metcalf and Pat Fryer and they're excited about all these different things. The leading receivers were Kenneth Gainwell for 87 for 81 yards, Darnell Washington for 7. Like, I mean, he got the job done, right? But what's the key here? What's the plan here to get those things going? And I think it does come down to really Aaron Rodgers offense, like that's the open guy. And listen, is that they hit the open guy? That's the thing. Because then as defense, I can't scheme up to pick one guy out. If I can't scheme up, like you talked about going to the weekend, I wrote a story for the weekend about how it was double team DK Metcalf, and it was one to do, especially on third down. The answer wasn't find other ways to draw up DK Metcalf. It was attack the players that aren't DK Metcalf. Get the ball to Prime, get the ball to Gainwell, to Wilson, to Austin. Give them all things. Let's play this. And in this game, James Gainwell gets those balls in the backfield. Darnell Washington gets the balls in the middle. I mean, Roman Wilson finally getting involved with that pass over the middle to go to the third down conversion. Those things open up DK Metcalf. Especially guys in the that to get 5 catches, 49 yards. So I maybe Arthur Smith's offense is more about that balance, which is just needing a quarterback that can strike that balance. And that comes to the question: can Mason Rudolph do that? This is we know he's doing in a pinch, but depending on how long our friend Gary is able to how long he's going to be out when we get that reporting later today, that might be a big turn to see where this is.
Yeah, listen, I did break it down by quarterback. Now I'm talking confident. I take honestly from the guys that Mason had a better rapport with I know it was even like that one that was underthrown on the sideline. That could have been another tough play there. It could have been upwards of 75 yards. Mason doesn't underthrow it there. So it just seemed like he was open a little bit more, or Mason was going to throw it to him a little bit more to get him in space. Again, with small sample size, only one half of football, but Mason got really good with it.
Yeah, but dude,
absolutely. I want to talk more about you got to talk about what you said because they had a really good game. The offense up and down, and still two halves. Defense was also a tale of two halves, but even in the half that they were more questionable, they still kept it together. I think that's a good sign for this defense moving forward because despite the Bengals not being a good team, that offense is still electric, and them being able to stop them might be a good sign for them. We'll talk more about that in the other side of the break here. On the North Shore Drive podcast, from the start with the auto. Hello, welcome back to the North Shore Drive podcast. This is first posted that I'm starting to break the bottle. The first reminder the show is also brought to you by Olympic Cosmetic Rarity. You got old goals or new for the dust. Fresh and cash. Safely security at Olympic Cosmetic Rarity. Right here. For shape sizes with a gold price during historic highs right now, and O&R pays top dollar with unwanted gold, silver, and coins. Stop by the Premier Gallery at 1530 Ellsworth Avenue, 885 or learn more at their website, onrcoins.com. onrcoins.com. Call or call them today at 412-994.
Tuesday. We're also brought to you by Goldberg, Christie, and White, who was diagnosed with mesothelioma or lung cancer. Call your local attorney, Goldberg, Christie, and White, for 40 years there for us. Thousands of lung cancer and mesothelioma victims. Call 1-800-COMPLEX or law.com for a free consultation. Ray, this defense came to play in this one, allowing just 12 points to a Bengals offense that since they acquired Joe Flacco, they scored 30. They were going to this game. They scored 37.6 points per game. They were like something to the Steelers, and saw the change in how the Steelers play defense. That we've written about it, we've talked about it. We're going a lot with the time team. We're Ramsey and they're putting Kyle Duggar and but it really seemed like this is a test, and I was like, okay, can the defense do that and win? Can they do it against top tier receiver talent? And they did it. Mark Chase held a 3 catches on 10 targets, 30 yards. He taken 3 catches, 60 yards, and touchdown. Granted, that touchdown might be a third, maybe a good call back for the whole on But I look at this, and it makes me wonder, has the defense figured out the big problem that was still Steelers? They still need to do better against the run of the game, but the pass game was the thing that had to do with killing the team. It didn't kill them. In fact, that was what won them the game, was that they shut it down.
Yeah, Mike Coleman talked yesterday, and talked about it for a few weeks on it, the ability to pass big. Sounds so simple, but they're really looking at some of the guys who they were playing. That's different, really. I'm not talking about the front end.
Hey, Jay. Yo, what's going on? Trying to figure out which character to delete. Oh, okay, here. How's it going? I'll turn that off for a minute. Getting ready to play this game and maybe get a little lunch. What's going on with you? I was just doing the news this morning, but I'm going to take a break from news. Da, da, da. Just a question, man. I just asked a question. Are they deleting photos of Trump raping kids? I didn't say they are. I said, are they? What's the scrambling around? Why are they hiding everything? Why did Lutnick say, hey, they have videos? Just last week, Lutnick said, hey, they have videos. And now, and then it makes me wonder, why is Trump's sudden change in behavior where he's suddenly saying, hey, let's release the files? Did they scrub the videos that I suspect they have? Or is the data safe and uncompromised? When we get the data, is it going to be bullshit or is it going to be legit? You know what I mean? So plenty. Remember, a dude used to say, so plenty. I gotta use the restroom, then we'll play this game. Sorry if you're some fans of this game. Skip the first 45 minutes and then I get to it. Dude, the steak, right though? Like first you put it in the it's $17 prime rib, dude. So first step is put it from the freezer to the refrigerator. You let it cool down slowly overnight. The cooking begins the night before, man. So then after that you leave it out. So it'll go from here to the room temperature. Every now and then you can prove, and I need you now forever. I need you now forever. That's all of them, dude. Fire all of your shots at once. Stretch out the days with your food lives. Yeah, throw all the salsa together, like you said, man. I'm gonna throw all my salsa together. I don't want to say I'm addicted to the news, but it's like now I'm gonna eat, like, like doesn't restrict your video at the time. Um, wait. Belarus and Russia. All right, well, who cares if Belarus and Russia can't see it? It's like Belarus and Russia can't see. It's so weird. No, I'm starving. I've got to eat a little something, man. She keeps saying that. It makes me think she is. What's going on here?
Irregular or fast heartbeat or abnormal movements. Seek help for fever, stiff muscles, problems thinking or sweating. Common.
Oh, there's sounds
All
going.
the
There
ingredients
it
that
is.
go into the presidential stew, right? There's the political pieces that you and I and Jim all focus on because we are political experts first. But at the same time, there's always that unquantifiable of race and gender that swirls in the pot. And that's the thing that's hard to overcome. And it's why so many of the experts, including Hillary Clinton herself in my book, told me, you're not going to overcome it until you overcome it. But I do think it's important that we remain optimistic about that possibility.
Well, Jim, nobody seriously thought Michelle Obama was going to run, right? I mean, she's made that pretty clear over the years. But if you're Gretchen Whitmer or AOC, two women who have been talked about as possible 2028 candidates, and they're not the only ones, I wonder how you read this. And I would think, because we were talking in the break about your heading to London, which knows what it is to have a woman leader, are we just not ready?
Well, it's interesting. Michelle Obama is the most popular political figure in America because of things like this, because she talks her truth and says it the way she thinks it is. As you know, I helped Theresa May win that national election in the UK, which is a very big moment. Margaret Thatcher obviously was first, and you can do that. On the other hand, what I hear from women candidates in the U.S. is there is a hurdle. They are treated differently. They are put to a different standard than male candidates sometimes.
Different than in the UK?
I think so. When you look at focus groups, you see that sometimes when women candidates are put to standards you wouldn't put male candidates to. And Allie's written about this. It doesn't mean that we're not going to have a woman win the presidency. People forget Hillary Clinton won the popular vote here. Like, our country, can do this. It is just a little bit harder for a woman candidate. And I think that's what Mrs. Obama was trying to speak to.
A pollster for American University, Allie, found, quote, voters trust women on the issues that matter most and want to see more women in office. Yet when asked about the presidency, bias and narrow expectations resurface. What's the disconnect here? You've talked to probably thousands of voters on the campaign.
Good question.
So have you, and they are full of paradoxes exactly like this one, because you look at this poll where voters say they trust female candidates on the issues that matter to them, and yet they are also simultaneously looking over at their neighbors saying, okay, well, maybe I don't have the bias of not wanting to vote for a woman, but I worry about what my neighbor would do. And I cannot tell you the number of voters that I met during the 2019-2020 election primary And really, it's gender and race dynamics that come into play the most during primaries. And of course, you can't get to a candidacy without going through a primary in most cases. But I think that that's where I often heard it, right? In a primary where people want to pick winners, especially Democrats vexed in the Trump era, they were watching after Hillary Clinton lost in 2016 and saying, okay, can we not just put a woman up against Trump? And I have story after story in my book of the ways that everyone from Amy Klobuchar to Elizabeth Warren tried to unwind this really complex issue of how they could prove to voters they were electable, which ultimately...
Yeah, that Missy bully bitch. And her fucking bulldog gold.
And so I think that Jim is right when he talks about the barriers that exist for women that do not exist for men. But at the same time,
I'll bully the bullies, man.
you have to look at the fact that more women are winning in executive offices. And I also think that when you talk about the parliamentary systems of government that have been able to elevate women within them, that is an example, and Nancy Pelosi stands as our domestic example of this as well. There is truth in women having I'll say easier, even though it's a relative term, an easier time being elected as a representative of a body.
It's like, bitch, it's a rah-rah, bitch. You fucking attacked me. What are you even talking about?
End up messaging that when they're there for the presidency, right? They are fighting on behalf of someone, not their own ambition.
Get me into my stream talking shit, dude.
Skipped one of the biases of women being overly ambitious and overtly seeking power.
And then she wanted to act like I came at her. Fuck you.
Messaging pieces of this as well. But when you look at other countries who've been able to notch this, many of them are from parliamentary systems where it shows that women are able to rise to the top of that. And look, if we had that in this country, we would already have this glass ceiling broken because of Pelosi.
And that bitch Summer mad because I don't like white nationalists with fake titties, man. You know who does? You know who might not mind? A Marty Party. He likes fake breasts.
Talking about now, well, in the last couple of months, probably besides the economy.
He doesn't mind enhanced breasts.
Why can't they just get things done? Why can't they talk to
I prefer all natural, never enhanced breasts. Well, if they had a reduction like Grey Subu because they're too heavy, then that's different.
Want people to talk to each other. Who's the person who can do that? Is there?
By the way, Grey Subu is very beautiful.
Women? Is it? I mean, the names we keep hearing a lot about are, of course, Gavin Newsom, your old colleague, Rahm Emanuel. I mean, who's going to actually convince people
cute, yeah,
I can make this government functional? Whoever that person is,
I don't think she likes me too much. She barely talks to me.
Man or woman. If you look back the last 20 or 30 years of presidential politics, we usually pick the opposite of the previous president. This guy is so divisive and so difficult, the country is going to want to pick someone who can bring us together. They're desperate for it, as you said. To Allie's point, that's why Spanberger and Michael Sherrill were both such winners in those elections, because they were seen as centrist candidates who could
If I have food, there's no reason to sit there and starve myself. It's just fucking... It's just bad habit, you know? You know what I mean? Well, I think we have a press conference release. Who cares, man?
Imagine being able to build anything just by thinking about it. Deep Base 44, a complete AI creation platform made for anyone with an idea and a drive to bring it to life. Describe what you want and watch it take shape. You can plan, customize, and expand in any direction.
Shit doesn't stop though. There's a new video I want to watch now.
From passion projects to enterprise. So Donald Trump is losing.
Well, why don't you take a peek at it, see is there anything new?
Today on Forbes, Trump's history with out says blasted the release of the new adding, quote, "It is even said that he likes beautiful women." His girlfriend at Trump Trump flew on Epstein's photos released by Trump group model.
Nothing
Trump allegedly gave Epstein a birthday card.
All right, all that's already. Everyone should know that watches my videos. So if they don't, they put a link in it, man. I'll just link to that, so just in case anyone doesn't already know. Where'd that go? What the hell just happened, man? Patchy! Come here, honey. Enter Patchy. I don't know, dude. That the girl, Evelyn, yeah, she's really pretty, man. She's beautiful, and I like the sound of her voice too. She's smart too. She's can sing and good at going to school. She's a bit emotional, but you can't blame her. She's putting up with a lot by herself, man. And the guys that she has dated, like, didn't help. They made things worse and harder. So then she's like learning to do shit on her own and has trouble trusting others. But going to school is really, really great for her, man. Super proud to hear. I've only known a short time, but hey, Cushy Candy Crush Queen. Hi. Cushy the Candy Crush Queen. Why did I read that? Hi. Hey, what's going on? Are you from Indonesia? Cushy the Candy Crush. Do you like cats? India? Cool. Do you know how to make achar? One of my favorite foods is achar, lemon pickle. What part of what part of India? Oh, I love me some achar, man. I ate at an Indian restaurant in New York City. It was Mick Jagger of the Rolling Stones' favorite restaurant. You have to walk down an alley, up the stairs to the back room, and it's all laden with tapestries. There's a guy playing sitar in there, and fish tanks everywhere, overlooking Manhattan. Yeah, it's Mick Jagger's favorite restaurant. But the food wasn't as good as the place that we went in New York City that was like a hole in the wall, like a rat. I hate to say this, a rat-infested dump. And it was like I was scared to go there when I was a kid, but my mom said, "No, no, this is the best." My mom said. I was like a little afraid, but it was the best. I had lemon pickle in there. I'm talking about it 30 years later. It was the best lemon pickle I've ever had. Pickled lemon, so good. Now when you get it, it's like a char. It's like pickled vegetables. They pickle like carrots and green peas, and I think lemon too, but lemon's not the feature. It's like pickled veggies with like some lemon in there. But I'd like to learn how to make it. I'd like to make pickles in general. I'm not making fun. I really, um, I'm a bit of a cook, a little bit of a cook. Cushy, do you cook? Are you a cook? You play Candy Crush? I play PlayStation video games. A lot of vegetarians in India, they don't like to eat cow. They consider cow as Buddha was. I believe that all animals are the incarnation of God. Really, we shouldn't eat any animals. I still do. I just showed my steak. I feel really guilty. I'm like a guilty meat eater. Hi, Wealthy. Wealthy in name only. Oh, Wealthy. Gee, Wealthy. Which fake person are you? Could you be Nikolai Blaze, Mystical, King Regis, Ricky, Summer? It's local. It's probably Nikolai Blaze, I have to guess. Get in the box. Go ahead and get in the box. Wealthy in name only, no gifting level, no favorites, and three of the same picture. Why are you visiting dudes? No, I want to be nice to everyone who comes in, but they're like fake profiles with fake pictures harassing me. I don't know why they're obsessed with me, man. It's weird. Nikolai, I tried to be your friend. I don't know what you were telling G about weed. The fuck are you talking about? I gave you some free weed one time when you came to my house. You smelled like fucking, you hadn't taken a shower in fucking 3 months, and that's some being kind, man. But I feel bad for the guy, man. I wish him nothing but the best, meaning diet, exercise, mental health. You know, these people say, I think you need therapy. Like therapy is a bad thing. We all could use therapy, man. I go to therapy every Thursday for years, man. Hey, it's permanent block, bitch. Go make a new account. Well, you can see they have no followers, no favorites, and then they put the same picture 3 or 4 times so they can like seem like they have a lot of pictures, but it's really the same picture over and over again. And it's from Greensburg where that dude Nikolai lives. And I know these guys, this dude King Regis, he said he has 30 fake accounts. I know you're not banned in your main account. And then he came in here one day and he said, "Oh, I'm sorry I came in. It was an ex." Dude, you're not banned. I thought we were like not friends, but like acquaintances. I'm polite to you on over the app. But that dude Mystical, MYST, I heard he was like a big harasser of women. It always is the harasser of women. And he never seen his face on cam. He's got a lot of fake accounts though that he likes to stalk people with and then go into the other stream and tell them what you said. um, Ricky and Snow, they've got. I told Snow don't support Ricky. They got married. I said, why do you support that white nationalist bigot? You should support me instead. Well, why are you coming in my stream lurking all the fucking time, dude? It's fucking weird, man. It's totally weird. And then he got a haircut so he doesn't have to look like me anymore. You know what I mean? These people are weird. Like, there's two things that I find weird. One, guys going in other heterosexual males going. It's like a dating app, but they go in like other male stream. They're like, that's a little weird to me. And the other weird thing is making up fake accounts on this app, and then I hardly want one account. I want to delete this account and fucking leave and never come back, dude. You know? The one account I do have, I wouldn't mind deleting forever. You know, you can meet me, dude. But see, here's the catch. They don't want me here because I call them out as women abusers. I call them out for being fake. I call them out for not knowing anything about politics, but yet going around spewing fucking bigoted opinions. Even Marty Party said he backed off on a political debate with me because he said, well, you know what, you're right, I don't follow current politics that much. I followed 10 years ago, and back then I liked Trump. He was nice. I met him a few times. He said, I'm not liking this policy of retribution and the policy of revenge. I'm not enjoying it. I wish he was focused on the economy. But when in the first term, I met him several times, and he was nice to me personally. So I can't ever say I met any president, and also Marty would tend to benefit from the tax breaks. So there's like tangible reasons why he would vote in that way. But some of these other, but even he very much followed politics 20 years ago, but not as much recently. But here I follow very closely every day. So I might be a little more in tune with current events. It doesn't mean you can't watch the news for 2 or 3 days and catch up. Listen, watching CNN, you're going to get facts and you're going to get opinions. There's certain facts, like this happened on this date. Like, here, this is the birthday card that Trump sent. Here it is. And then they'll be like, they have a panel of 5 people to discuss it. You might not agree with all of them, but the fact is there was a birthday letter sent. And then the opinion is, CNN brings on Republicans who will argue, like Scott Jennings. Everyone hates him, because he's the CNN Republican. He, no matter what it is, he argues that's his job, to argue the Republican side. And Lawrence O'Donnell hates him, but thinks, I think it's kind of important to do. You don't want, it's good to have the opposing opinion. And usually it's just like one Republican opinion and then everyone else arguing with them. That's what Waldo said. He said, I spent a month talking to myself, man. And then he said, even now, man, some days. Goodbye. Goodbye. What?
You're number 2.
You know about 2B?
Yes, well, the bunker told me to expect you. My name is Anemone. I'm the leader of the android resistance that controls most of this territory. You must be the new scouts we heard about. Well, I'm sure my people will have plenty of information for you. Please feel free to ask them anything you like.
Is that the permission you said? Yeah, I'm like hungry again. Did you fix it? That you'll buy it later if you need it. Get the materials.
Target location data obtained. Marking on map.
Got a mission. Do I have any already? Oh, I have it. fucking suddenly so tired I can't even stay awake. I'm like Donald Trump at the fucking meeting, dude.
This must have been quite a city once upon a time. Too bad vegetation's claimed most of it now.
Operator 60 to 2B. It is time for your regularly scheduled contact.
This is 2B. Nothing to report.
Good to hear. Say, how's the weather on Earth today? Good?
It's fine. Does that question have anything to do with our operation?
Not really. I just figured it might feel nice to have some good weather.
Feeling nice has no bearing on completing missions.
That is so like you, 2B. Anyway, talk to you later.
Okay, that's everything the supply trader asked for. Man, these chores are a real pain in the butt, huh?
The Resistance is a valuable ally to Yorha. By helping them, we also help ourselves. So no, I don't think they're a pain.
Yeah. This is the place that weapons trader was talking about. Uh-oh. I'm picking up hostile machine life forms. That should be enough. Let's get these back to the trader.